The air at Imam Khomeini International Airport was thick with the scent of saffron and goodbye, a bittersweet perfume that clung to every corner. The terminal pulsed with the energy of departures and reunions, each traveler carrying their own story, their own hopes and fears. Arash held his mother's hand tightly, feeling the tremor in her fingers. Her tears were silent, but unforgettable, each drop a memory, a wish, a prayer for his safe return. In that moment, he realized how much he was leaving behind. His father stood a few steps back, pride and sorrow etched deep into his weathered face. He watched his son with a mixture of hope and worry, knowing this farewell was more than just a journey. It was a rite of passage. "You will make us proud, my son. You will be a great dentist," he'd said, his voice steady but his eyes shining with emotion. The words were both a blessing and a burden, a reminder of the expectations Arash carried. Arash nodded, the weight of duty heavy on his shoulders. He felt the invisible chain of family honor and tradition binding him, urging him forward. He was the eldest son, the family's hope and pride, leaving Iran for the Philippines, not for adventure, not for escape, but for obligation. The dreams of his parents rested on his shoulders, and he could not let them down. The terminal buzzed with Farsi, the language of home, as families clung to tradition in their farewells. Old customs mingled with new anxieties, and every embrace seemed to last a little longer, as if to hold back time. Arash's path had always been clear: excel in his studies, become a respected professional, return home, and honor the family name. There was comfort in that certainty, but also a quiet fear of failing. This journey was supposed to be a detour, a temporary chapter, not a new direction. He told himself he would return unchanged, but deep down, he wondered if that was possible. Yet, as he hugged his father one last time, a strange feeling stirred within him, a whisper of uncertainty, a question he could not name. He was stepping into the unknown, leaving behind not just language, food, and faith, but the very fabric of his identity. Every item in his suitcase was a piece of home, a reminder of who he was. The final boarding call echoed through the terminal, severing his last tie to home. The sound was sharp, final, and it made his heart race. He walked to the gate, not daring to look back, afraid that if he did, he might never find the courage to leave. He was Arash, son of a respected merchant, bound for dentistry and a future mapped out by others. The textbooks in his bag felt heavier than ever. As the plane lifted off, Tehran's lights scattered below like jewels on velvet, and he felt unmoored, adrift between two worlds. He was a ship sailing into fog, guided by a map drawn by others, uncertain of the destination, but unable to turn back. He didn't know then that this journey would change not just his future, but his very soul. The horizon outside the window seemed endless, full of both promise and peril. The world he left behind was safe, familiar, filled with the warmth of family dinners and the comfort of familiar streets. The world ahead was a blank page, waiting to be written, full of unknown challenges and unexpected joys. He wondered if he would find himself, or lose himself, on foreign shores, if the man who returned would be the same as the boy who left. Duty had brought him here, but something deeper was calling, a quiet voice inside, urging him to discover who he truly was. He just didn't know what it was yet. But as he stepped forward, he sensed that this journey would reveal more than he ever expected, both about the world and about himself. The Philippines was a practical choice, not a dream. For Arash, it was never about chasing fantasies or following a childhood wish. It was about what made sense, what was possible. Arash's father had researched it thoroughly: affordable tuition, English-speaking environment, and universities with solid reputations. It was a decision rooted in logic, in careful planning, in the hope of a better future. America and the UK were too expensive. Australia was too far away from home. Canada, too cold and unfamiliar. The Philippines, by comparison, seemed just right, close enough, warm, and welcoming. The plan was simple: study hard, earn a degree, and return home to build a future. It was a path laid out step by step, with little room for surprises. Yet, as Arash traced the islands on a globe, his finger lingering over the unfamiliar shapes, he felt a mix of nervousness and a quiet, secret thrill. The unknown called to him in a way he couldn't quite explain. He pictured long nights of study, video calls home to reassure his family, and a life free from distractions. At least that was the plan. But beneath all the logic and planning, a quiet longing stirred inside him, something he tried to ignore. He yearned for something more than just fulfilling a duty, a sense of meaning, a purpose he couldn't quite name or describe. In Tehran, even as he prayed and went through the motions, there was a void, a space inside him that his prayers alone couldn't fill. Maybe, he thought, a new place would help him find what was missing, or at least help him understand what he was searching for. He packed his textbooks and sensible clothes, preparing for the life everyone expected him to live, but tucked away, almost without thinking, a secret hope, a wish for something unexpected, something just for him. He wanted to find something more, something that would make all the effort and sacrifice worthwhile, even if he didn't yet know what that more was, or if it even existed. The Philippines on paper was just a transaction, a means to an end, a step on a practical path. But, in his heart, Arash hoped for transformation, for a change that would reach deeper than any degree. As he stepped into the bright Manila morning, he was about to discover what that truly meant, and how a practical choice could awaken hidden dreams. Manila was nothing like the brochures. The humidity, the noise, the chaos, it was overwhelming. Arash's dorm felt like a cell. The food was foreign, the city alien. He missed his mother's cooking, his family's laughter. Attempts to connect with classmates fell flat. He felt invisible. Homesickness was a constant ache, made worse by the time difference. His world shrank to university, library, dormitory, repeat. Surrounded by millions, he had never felt so alone. The city's energy, once exciting, now suffocated him. He wondered if his father was right. There were no distractions here, only solitude. Each night he lay awake, haunted by memories of home. The distance was more than miles. It was a chasm of experience. He was a ghost in a vibrant world, longing for connection. Loneliness became his only companion. Change came in small, unexpected ways. The old woman at the Sari store greeted him warmly, making him feel seen. Miguel, a classmate, invited him to eat, pointed out halal food, and welcomed him into his study group. No questions, just inclusion. Simple acts. A jeepney driver waiting, a security guard greeting him by name, a librarian saving him a seat, chipped away at his isolation. Filipino kindness was spontaneous, woven into daily life. The city's chaos became a symphony. Unfamiliar faces grew friendly. Homesickness lingered, but new friendships filled the void. He realized that even in a foreign land, kindness could build a sense of home. The ache of loneliness softened, replaced by gratitude. He was no longer invisible. In Tehran, faith was quiet and private, a river running deep. The mosque was solemn, prayer intimate, faith a pillar of identity. In the Philippines, faith was everywhere, loud, joyful, public, rosaries in jeepneys, hymns in parks, cathedrals alive with laughter. The contrast was startling. His faith was order and submission. Theirs was celebration and emotion. He observed from a distance, curious but detached. He respected their devotion, but it felt foreign. Passing Quiapo Church, he saw desperate hope in strangers' faces. He retreated to his room, finding comfort in familiar prayers. He was Muslim, they were Christian. Two worlds, never meant to meet, or so he thought. One humid night, a blackout plunged his room into darkness. Alone, Arash opened his window, searching for relief. From a neighboring apartment, a family's hymn drifted up, soft, hopeful, pure. He didn't know the words, but the melody reached him. The song was not for show, but for comfort, a light in the dark. He listened, captivated, feeling a longing he couldn't explain. The music was a bridge, a language his heart understood. For the first time, Filipino faith felt like hope, not spectacle. When the lights returned, the moment faded, but the hymn's echo remained. A seed of curiosity was planted. What was the source of that peace? He needed to know. The question would change everything. The seed grew. Arash asked Miguel about the singing, about hope. Miguel invited him to a prayer meeting. Plastic chairs, a wooden cross, people singing with abandon. Testimonies of struggle and gratitude filled the room. Arash sat in the back, drawn to the sense of belonging. He began attending secretly, hiding a Bible under his mattress. The idea of grace, a love freely given, was revolutionary. It clashed with the faith of duty and law he'd known. Peace warred with guilt, hope with fear of betrayal. He imagined his parents' shame, their heartbreak. He was caught between two worlds, tradition and a new irresistible peace. The fork in the road was clear. He could not stand in the middle forever. A choice had to be made. The decision came quietly. Arash knew he had to tell his parents. He called home, voice trembling, and confessed, "I have decided to become a Christian." Silence. Then, heartbreak. His mother wept. His father's voice was cold. "You are no longer our son." The line went dead. The bridge to his past obliterated. Arash stood alone, grief crashing over him. The cost of peace was exile from everything he'd known. He sank to the floor, his mother's sobs echoing in the empty room. The weight of his choice was immense. He had lost his family, his history, his home, but he could not live a lie. The pain was real, but so was the conviction. He had chosen truth, no matter the price. Now, he had to find a way forward. Grief consumed Arash, wrapping around him like a heavy blanket he could not shake off. The loss he carried felt endless, and the silence of his room echoed with memories and longing. But Miguel and his friends did not let him drown in that sorrow. They noticed his pain, and reached out, refusing to let him face the darkness alone. They sat with him, sometimes in silence, sometimes with gentle words. They brought food, simple meals that spoke of care, and listened with open hearts, never rushing his grief or trying to fix it. They shared their own stories of loss and hardship, creating a space where vulnerability was met with understanding, not judgment. Family, he learned, was not just blood, it was presence in darkness, the willingness to sit with another's pain and offer comfort, even when words failed. Slowly, gratitude grew alongside sorrow. He began to see the small lights his friends offered, and hope flickered within him. He decided to be baptized, a step toward healing and renewal. The ceremony was simple, but its meaning was profound. On a quiet beach at sunset, with the sky painted in gentle colors, he walked into the ocean, surrounded by those who cared for him. Immersed in the cool water, he felt cleansed of sorrow and reborn in hope. As he emerged, friends cheered, their joy echoing across the waves. They wrapped him in towels and hugs, their warmth reminding him that he was not alone, that he belonged. In that moment, he understood. True belonging was compassion, acceptance, and shared hope, a bond stronger than any bloodline. He had left Iran to become a dentist, chasing a dream in a distant land, uncertain of what he would find. But in the Philippines, he found God and a new family, in the kindness of strangers who became friends. In losing his old life, he found himself. The journey was painful, but it led him to a deeper understanding of who he was. The ache of exile remained, a quiet reminder of all he had left behind, but so did peace, a peace born of acceptance and love. Home was no longer a place, it was the people who loved him, the community that embraced him as one of their own. And in that, he was finally free, able to walk forward with hope, surrounded by the family he had chosen, and the love that had found him.